Here with me now to discuss this further is Sean Nation. He is the Deputy General Counsel to the Mountain States Legal Foundation. And they've brought a massive lawsuit against the FAA for not hiring qualified air traffic controllers because they were too white. That might be the same thing going on at Boeing in some way. Sean, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it and appreciate you shining light on this topic. You know, unfortunately, with Boeing, I think the real question is, where was the FAA in all of this? They're supposed to be the inspectors. They're supposed to be the oversight, but they were nowhere.
Oh, and that's an important question. And you think that progressive agenda items like DEI and things of that nature could have played a role here because the priorities were out of whack. Instead of focusing on where the parts are going and quality control, that they're worried about pronouns and other things. Is that really one of your concerns?
It really is. You know, with airlines, thankfully, they're incredibly safe flying. Things like the door blowing off just don't happen very often, thank God. But there has been a movement away from merit and a movement away from making sure that there are zero errors because of concerns over things like, is the person in charge, do they have the right skin color? Do they have the right equipment, so to speak? And not concern of, are they going to make zero errors? And we see that with the FAA.
So let me ask you, this is important, Sean. Do you have something to substantiate that? Because that's a heavy accusation to make. Do you have something to substantiate that as being a real concern?
Yes, well, at the FAA, definitely. We represent 1,000 would-be air traffic controllers who, during the Obama administration, were flushed out of the system. They had gone to college to become air traffic controllers, and in most cases had scored perfect on a merits-based test. But the Obama administration got rid of the merits-based test in favor of a race-based hiring system.
So they literally got rid of people because they were white.
That's exactly right. They put in a test that was designed to alter the racial makeup of the hiring pool. They've all but admitted it at this point. And unfortunately, 1,000 would-be air traffic controllers had to find other work. And as you may or may not know, we in America currently have a shortage of close to 2,000 air traffic controllers. So, you know, it has real impacts on safety.
So where is this case, the case you're referring to here? We'll get back to Boeing in a minute. But these 1,000 would-be air traffic controllers, where does that case stand today?
So we are suing in the District of Columbia because we're suing the government. So you have to go to their turf to do it for the most part. And we're currently in the discovery process. We don't currently have a trial date, but it'll likely be sometime towards the end of next year or even early 2026 because of how slowly federal litigation works.
All right. So let's go back to Boeing now. You've got the goods here, it seems, on filing a lawsuit, a civil complaint against the FAA and so forth. What about Boeing? Do you have evidence to support what you're suggesting, which is they put diversity ahead of competency and safety?
Well, so what we're seeing generally is that there has been a move away from only merits-based and a focus on DEI, as they call it, you know, the diversity, equity, and inclusion focus. We know that most of the Fortune 500 companies, and that would include Boeing, have these programs in place. So can I draw a direct line with Boeing? Not as I sit here today. Do I have heavy suspicions that that is one of the reasons why their culture of safety and of zero errors has moved away? I do suspect that.
But at this point, you don't have anything to substantiate that. I just want to be clear on that. You have your suspicions, you're investigating, but there is no...
I am not making an accusation against Boeing as we sit here today. I'm saying I suspect it, and I think that Boeing and its board of directors and anyone investigating it should take a real hard look at how their hiring policies affect their safety and affect the safety of the flying public.
And look, let's talk about this just for a second here, Sean, because as you mentioned, the Fortune 500 companies, collectively, not all of them, but many of them, have pursued these DEI policies over many years. Now, JP Morgan Chase and some of the others are now saying we don't want to do this anymore. They're retreating from their DEI policies because of a variety of reasons. but mostly because they failed to help the bottom line. And it's been critical to their financial success, but other companies have had other issues with this. Is it time to get just back to meritocracy? You know, the hardest working, best thinking, best deserving candidate wins. Shouldn't it just be that way?
I think so. And as we've seen the Supreme Court say in other contexts, like the college admission context, the way to stop discriminating on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. We may never have a truly colorblind society, but the way to start working towards a colorblind society is to do our best to only focus on an individual's merits, their capabilities, their ability, and how they will operate in a given role, and simply say that their skin color has no business in being a determining factor of their character, because it's not.
Yeah, should not be a determining factor. I thought we got past that about the time I was born in this country, but apparently we still have some work to do because they've overcorrected, we say, and they've gone back another direction. Sean Nation, thank you for being here today.
All right, thank you for having me, sir.
Really appreciate it.